Joyful, joyful Monday. Happy Monday. Happy Mindful Monday. Momentum Monday. Make it happen Monday. Whatever you want to call it. We are here. We are here. We are here. And here is my in a good way. Coming to you live from California. I am Southern California on the west side. Hello, hello, hello.
Hi, hi, hi,
Happy
hi. Happy
Monday.
Monday, beautiful. Happy Monday.
We made it.
Woo, yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Barely. Nah.
I'm telling you. I don't know. This Monday seems a little bit more challenging. Like the past few Mondays have been kind of like, but today just seems a little bit more challenging. But I just watched your video of you encouraging yourself in the mirror.
Hmm.
And I was like, yes, yes. So
Yes.
as soon as I finish with you here today, before I go on to anything else, I'm leaving this room and I'm going into another room and I'm going to do the exact same thing in
Yes.
the mirror to myself.
I
Serious.
love that. I love that for
Yes.
you. I
So
mean,
thank you.
we often rush to that part of getting dressed and getting ready. And I mean, we're always talking to ourselves. We're always telling ourselves what to wear, what we gonna eat, turn here, do this, that checklist. But are we talking to ourselves intentionally and mindfully? Are we looking ourselves in the eyes
Right.
and telling ourselves, affirming who we are? That matters. So I love mirror work.
Yeah.
Sometimes I even have affirmations on sticky notes that I'll
Okay.
put on the mirrors and on the walls and different things
Right.
like that. Not even lying. I don't want to mess up my setup here. But I do have sticky notes in my office over there.
Okay. Right.
And
Right.
so, but that mirror work is so intentional because you can look and you can stare at yourself in the eyes. And it's something about like when you're talking to yourself and looking yourself in the eyes, it just makes it more
Right.
real and more powerful and dynamic. So
Right. So
happy you enjoyed
for
that.
those that don't know what I'm talking about, please go over to Dr. Banks's page. Obviously, it's the link that we're on right now, but go over and check out her talking to herself in the mirror. And I guarantee you're going to be inspired as I was inspired. So,
Thank
wow.
you. I
Yes.
appreciate that.
Yes.
Well, yes, welcome to our Mindful Momentum Monday
Yeah.
live with
Yeah.
Frankie and I. Frankie, who is an international renowned life coach, specializing in helping you go from surviving to thriving in many different areas of life and love and work and career and all those different things, especially heavy in helping with grief work and helping others manage their grief and cope effectively and use it to continue to push themselves and walk the walk, that we're here walking in this journey. So, Frankie is just amazing, fabulous, very heartfelt, very dynamic, smart, intellectual, and just brings so much to the table. And I'm always honored to speak with her. Many different people have told me because not only do I share this live on my Instagram, I also upload this live to my YouTube. So there are people that are not on social media that catch us on YouTube, and they often tell me, I love her. Like, who is she?
Oh,
And yeah, she just speaks so heartfelt. And I really can
wow.
feel her authenticity coming through, the video and her sharing, especially like around life and grief and some of the heavy topics that we've talked about.
Right.
So I just want to encourage you, you might not know everybody that's watching just because,
Right.
of what happens here, but people are watching even in the Women Healing and Purpose events.
Right.
People told me, that portion, I have a client in specific that told me that she had to turn it off when you started speaking because it hit too close.
Mm.
But then when she turned it, because it hit too close, but when she turned it back on, she got so much out of it. And she was able to use that. Ooh, I'm tearing up now. She was able to use that like in her day. to help her. So I'm just telling you, Frankie, you are changing lives. You are impacting people that you don't even know, that
Yeah.
don't that so don't stop, don't quit, no matter what it looks like, no matter how you feel. Keep showing up for yourself, because you're showing up for you, which is allowing me to show up for me, which is allowing other people to show up for themselves. And we ain't even got into it. Where's the
Okay.
tissue? Oh my. The cleaners just came and cleaned my office. So
Oh,
it's things. Oh, hold on one second.
okay. Oh my goodness.
Well, that was unexpected.
Right? No, and you know what? Let me just take a quick second and it'll be a quick one. But I really want everyone to understand that Dr. Jamila Banks is a phenomenal human being. And I'm going to get emotional again because
Don't do it.
this woman, no, serious, and I've been watching you, just like you said, people are watching. Well, I've been keeping my eye on you through all kinds of stuff that's going on this end. And let me just tell you, the amount of love and the amount of energy that you put into every single thing that I see that you put out there on social media, it leaves me in awe. It just leaves me in awe. I was actually talking about you earlier today to one of my friends, and I was like, I don't know how this woman is before us looking as beautiful, as radiant, as intelligent, as resilient as you are, knowing just even a snippet of what your life journey has looked like. And I'm telling you this, you do the same. Keep going, keep moving, because you are, in fact, helping so many people understand that you don't have to go around life looking like what you feel like, right? You don't have to allow life issues and life trauma and life other things that life brings to keep you stagnant. You are a prime example, and I love you. You are a prime example of never giving up, even if you wanted to. You had every reason to, but you had never gave up. And it to me that is an award-winning personality, right?
Thank
I,
you.
yeah, I don't even know what other words to put to it, but it makes me really emotional because, like I said, you are. When I grow up, I want to be you. Yeah, when I when I grow up, I want to have that level of resilience, that level of just radiating beauty, not just outwardly because you are gorgeous outwardly, but inwardly it shows. So you too, my sister, you just keep going, keep doing you, keep inspiring people with your story because it is an inspirational story.
Thank
So
you. Thank
yes,
you. So what I'm saying, where two or more
woo,
agree, it is done.
yeah,
So every time we come on here, just know that Frankie and I are motivating each other, encouraging each other, pouring into each other, and we're doing that here. And we want to share that with you because we know that you guys are looking for things that we're looking
right,
for. When we're talking to you, we're talking to ourselves and we're giving you what we need in hopes that like you can take this and you can run with it and apply it to your day to day.
right,
So know that when we speak, we are very mindful and what we're presenting to you, and we're very mindful in what we're telling you to do. And we're never telling you things that we don't put in practice
right,
ourselves, that
right.
we don't put in place ourselves. And I want you to know this is not coming from perfection because we have not perfected anything around this camp. This is coming from trial and error. This is coming from falling down and getting up, falling down, getting up, falling down, getting up. The things that I say and I speak, for example, in anger management that we hosted on Saturday, is the practice that I practiced the day before and the day after.
Right.
So when you hear these things that are coming from our mouths, just know that we are walking this walk with you. Although it may be like Frankie, world renowned life coach, Jamila Banks, doctor, licensed marriage and family therapist. These are titles. And we are pairing up our titles, our book smart with our street smart. meaning that we are telling you from real life world experiences from ourselves and other people that we know around us, and pairing it up with that book smart and that knowledge and those tools to come here to bring this stuff to you. So, okay, we're going to jump
That-
into it. Oh
That's right.
boy.
Let's get going. So I
Yes.
went first last time, so now it's your
All
turn.
right. All right.
Plus,
Well, let's
plus I
see.
need water.
Yes, and I need water too. Let me take a sip.
I have a whole jug. I told you before.
Uh,
So excuse me. Go ahead.
yes. Okay. So, question number one, and these are questions around mind, body, spirit, mental well being, questions that we're receiving, questions that we've been asked that we're sharing with you guys. How can prioritizing my well being improve other areas of my life? Okay.
Mm.
When you take care of yourself, your well being, mind, body, spirit, the being that you are, you show up as your best self, mind, body, spirit, at work, at home, at school, in your career, with your family, your friends. You can show up as your best self in every area of your life, the things that matter to you. You can take your relationships, your career, and your personal growth and excel when you prioritize your well being. Prioritizing your well being can look like, it leads to like more increased focus, increased energy. When you prioritize taking care of yourself, you find yourself feeling lighter. You find yourself being able to focus more, concentrate more, have more energy for the things that you want to do. Better emotional regulation. When you prioritize your well being, you're able to basically emotionally regulate. You get angry, you get upset, you get doubtful, you get fearful, you have the range of emotions. But when you catch a lower vibrating emotion, you can regulate better and you can raise your vibration up and you can become self soothing and you can regulate a lot faster when you prioritize your well being. When you prioritize your well being, you help cultivate stronger relationships. Relationships with your mother, brother, sister, uncle, cousin, at work, people that you work with, your kids. Your relationships become more fulfilling. They become more intentional. They become more beneficial for both parties involved when you prioritize your well being. It also helps greater productivity and creativity. When you're prioritizing taking care of yourself, you can accomplish more. You become more productive. Your outcomes and your goals can get accomplished faster. So, prioritizing your well being means, what do you need to be well in your mind, in your body, in your emotions, in your spirit? This can change. It changes with ages. It changes with different season of your lives. So I would say you need to question that weekly, question that monthly. What do I need to do to prioritize my well-being? Does that mean I need to work out? Does that mean I need to journal? Does that mean I need to go to therapy? Does that mean I need to spend more time with my family and my friends? What does that look like for you? Because your well-being looks different for everybody. So I encourage you on the weekends, on Sunday and Saturday, look at the week ahead. What do you need for your mind? What do you need for your body? What do you need for your spirit and emotions? If you ask yourself this and you prioritize what you need for your well being, that will help improve all these areas of your life. So, that is the answer to that question, number one.
Ah, I love it. I love it. I love it. The only thing I am going to add to it is if you don't prioritize your own well-being, everything else is irrelevant. It just is because you can't show up authentically. You can't show up healthy. As my friend used to tell me, healthy, wealthy, and wise. You can't show up like that if you're not prioritizing your own well-being and your own mental health and your own self-care first, right? So perfect. Then we'll go on to number two. What self-care practices help me feel more balanced and at peace? Well, I think that Dr. Banks, you and I can go and what do you call it? We can piggyback off of each other on this one because I know that there are some things that I do that you also do, like yoga. For me, yoga is probably the most important self care practice that I currently use. And since the question is asking, me, what do I do? I balance yoga 3 days a week and then Pilates 3 days a week, right? And then I have a day of rest. Those are things that really help me balance out my mental health as well as my physical health, right? I know that there are other things that you can do, such as journaling. Those are important. That's important as well. But again, the question is, what self-care practices help me feel most balanced and at practice? I would recommend that if you don't have something already in place that you are comfortable with, I would recommend that you experiment with different activities, with different tools. Like I said, we mentioned journaling before, getting out in nature, just going for a walk. It doesn't have to be a marathon walk, but get out there, get some fresh air, tap into nature. Something that I've also been doing lately is grounding, right? So and I'm new to it. I've said this before and I'll keep saying it again. I'm new to it, and I'm learning what the benefits are and what the benefits are and that kind of stuff. But just getting outside barefoot on the grass and walking around for a few minutes, I cannot tell you. You can Google it, but I cannot tell you the absolute benefits. But I can tell you that when I do it and when I finish, I feel so calm and so relaxed. And I notice that in the evening when it's time to go to bed, I sleep so well. So much so, a friend of mine bought me a grounding mat that I keep under my desk, and I take my socks off and I keep my feet on the grounding mat while I'm working here at home. But again, I would encourage you to explore whatever feels good for you, whatever is going to help you, whatever is going to encourage you to just continue to take care of yourself. Absolutely, I do believe it needs to be something physical, that you need to be moving. I just do. So, Dr. Banks, I had mentioned earlier that we can probably
Yes,
piggyback off this one because you do some
yes.
awesome stuff. Want to share that?
Yes, and I love what you're saying. Side note, sis, I think in the future we will have some episodes around each one of these things because we
Mm,
can have a whole episode on
right,
grounding and what grounding looks like. So, side note that because one of the next things that we could do, we can have a grounding episode 1, 2, 3, 4.
right.
What are the benefits? What it looks like in different type of grounding exercises, and we can have different series around different coping skills, and we can break
Absolutely.
those coping skills down. So, side note,
I love it.
okay. So, self care, as you said, is a very personal practice. So, everybody's self care, and everybody's rituals might look different. But I'm a firm believer that you need something for your mind, your body, and your emotions, like you said, something physical too. So, some of my physical self care practices include exercise. I go to the gym 5 days a week in the morning, about 5 a.m. Yoga, like you said, my practice is literally intentionally 3 days a week. When I slip, especially with high yoga, I feel it. So I'm really trying to be intentional with those 2, 3 days a week. Hydration.
Mm,
Physically, I'm very mindful. I have an app on my phone that reminds me to drink water every hour. I have water jugs and canteens everywhere. So I'm always reminding myself to stay hydrated. Sleep. I know people, have different things about sleep, but I've done different studies, and then you can function off of 6 hours. So I make sure I get my 6 hours of intentional sleep and have practices around my sleep. So I'm having rested sleep and not intermittent sleep and things like that. Emotional self care, therapy, journaling. Like you said, journaling. I have a journaling practice where every day I journal my gratitudes, I journal my affirmations. So although I do mirror work and speak to myself, I'm a believer of write it down, make it plain, use all your senses. So
mm,
I speak my affirmations, but I also write my affirmations because it's about writing it and making it plain. And then I can visualize them on paper too. So I'm like really heavy with the programming of myself, of speaking, of writing, of listening, of touching, different things for this practice. Therapy, journaling, expressing my feelings, the spiritual meditation.
mm,
I often get away from it, and then I go into my doing, and then when I'm feeling overwhelmed or off balance, I realize my being needs more pouring into. So my meditative practices is not always 15 minutes in a setting. It could be a quick meditation of 3 minutes, and that just gives me a boost. And so in the morning, I have the practice of my like 10 to 15 minute meditation, but throughout the day, I try to find like 2 or 3 minutes to have that brief meditation to reboost and regenerate myself. Connecting with nature, like you said, grounding. My feet are on the ground right now. There are
Right.
different times that like I have these flip flops, I can take them off and have my feet on the ground, releasing toxins, connecting with the earth, getting positive ions and energy back into me. Social, because the social is also a self-care practice. Setting boundaries, keeping those boundaries, surrounding yourself with supportive people, especially if you have people that aren't so supportive, that you are assigned to in different seasons, that have to be around you in different seasons at work or in life. Be intentional about surrounding yourself with people that pour into you, that are supportive. So these are the practices that I would add for like balancing my self-care, helping me feel practice and at peace. I'm intentionally with making sure it's mind, body, and spirit, because sometimes people just practice the body. And you could go exercise every day if you want
Right.
to. But if you're not doing things for your mind and your spirit, your emotions,
Right.
you're going to burn out with your mind and your
Right.
emotions. Now, say if you're doing all that mental work and you're always in your head, but then you're not taking walks and getting out in nature and exercising, then your body going to start feeling all those type of things. Now, say you doing body work, you might be doing mental work, but you got emotions and you got a spirit. You got something inside of you. And if you're not doing something to address your spirit and your emotions and that side of you too, your body gonna be moving and your mind gonna be thinking, but your soul and your spirit gonna be depleted and on E.
Right.
So these things, remember, practice that Trinity, mind, body, spirit, when you're thinking of your self-care
Love
practices.
it. Love it. Love it. And thank you for adding all of that. I appreciate that. Yeah.
That was a whole nother special.
No, but it is so true. And then again, the question was, what do you do? So you did express what you do for your self-care. I expressed what I did. And we're encouraging individuals to figure it out for themselves. I mean, yeah, you don't have to go to yoga, right? You don't have to. I encourage you to, but you don't have to. But figure out what it is that, works best for you and stick to it,
Yep,
right?
yep. And it looks different. It might look different in
Yes,
different seasons.
right.
Winter season, you might have
That's
different self-care
true.
practices.
That's true.
Summer season, I go to the spa, and that's one of my practices. But I'm not going in the wintertime. So wintertime, I might be getting
Right.
tattoos because I had tattoo therapy
I
yesterday.
saw that.
So yes, like
Yeah.
make sure that you have a toolkit, that you switch it up
Yeah.
because you don't get
That's
bored.
true.
You don't have to do the same things every day for the rest of your life
Right.
and just make it a
Right.
routine, and then it just becomes a checklist. Spice it up. There's
Right.
many self-care things that you can
Right.
do. Have fun.
That's fine.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Okay. Well, diving into number 3, am I setting and maintaining boundaries that protect my mental and emotional health? Well, myself, yes. And questions you can ask yourself to address this. This is for, are you setting and maintaining boundaries that protect your mental and emotional health? I am. And how I'm doing this is, okay, ask yourself, do you say yes when you really want to say no? I used to, but now I don't. I say no, and I
No.
mean no, and no means no. And I don't say yes to stuff I don't want to do.
Right.
And that's been hard to practice that boundary, but no longer will I do things I don't want to do. It's just a no for me.
Mm-hmm.
So you can ask yourself that. Ask yourself, do you feel drained or resentful after different interactions? So how I check to see if I'm maintaining my boundaries and protecting my mental health, different relationships and conversations, is it uplifting? Am I getting motivated? Am I getting encouraged? When I leave the room, when I leave different conversations, do it feel like wonk, wonk, wonk? Do it feel like, am I feeling low? Am I feeling depleted? Am I feeling angry, bitter, mad? Like checking my vibe. That helps me protect my mental health and emotional health.
Yeah.
Ask yourself, do I allow myself space to rest without guilt? A lot of people have to do. And when they feel like they have to just do and they can't just be. So I check myself. Am I allowing myself just to put my feet up and not feeling guilty about it. Am I allowing myself to watch this show and this movie, eat this ice cream, eat this cookie, and just have space for that? So if I'm not, that's how I check myself to see if I'm protecting my mental health and emotional health with my boundaries. So those are some ways that you can check your boundaries. A boundary is not a boundary till you have to enforce it. So you make the boundary, but then when you're protecting your mental and emotional health, you have to use the boundary. So you have to be asking yourself these questions like in conversations, am I offering too much of myself?
Mm.
And if I am, how can I pull that back and stuff like that? Do I have to adjust that? I'm sorry, I thought I could do that, but I realized that was beyond my capacity and I don't have the space for that today. And that's okay if you have to flex that. So that is how I am making sure I'm mindful about protecting boundaries, setting my boundaries, and protecting my emotional and mental health.
I love it. I love it. I love it, especially learning to say no. I think that's huge. That to me is it's a huge boundary in my world that I no longer do anything that I don't want to do. I just no longer do it. And I don't feel guilty about it because no is a viable answer, just like yes is, right? So when we say yes, there's no explanation that comes behind it. When we say no, there's no explanation that comes behind it. Everything is geared towards what it is that we feel like doing, want to do, or encouraged to do, or inspired to do. So I love that one. Yeah, learning the boundary of just saying no. So perfect. Love it.
Yes.
Okay. Number 4, the final question. What limiting beliefs about self-care do I need to let go of to fully embrace my wellness journey? Well, I don't know who asked this question, but I'm going to just give an example of what limiting belief that I had to let go of in order to embrace my wellness journey. As I mentioned before, I go to yoga. And the first time I went to yoga, I went to this yoga studio. There were a bunch of 20-year-olds and everybody's fit and everybody can, put their right leg behind the back of their head and this kind of stuff. And I immediately felt like, oh, I can't fit in here. I don't know anything about this. I don't know. This is not for me. And the instructor pulled me aside because I was about to leave. And she was like, what's going on? Why are you leaving? And I was like, well, because these people clearly, this must be an advanced class. I'm in the wrong class. And she was like, no, this is just a yoga class. And any and everybody is welcome to come in and participate. When she made that comment, I again surveyed the room. I'm the plus size girl in the room, and I'm the older girl in the room. And I stood there for a second and I was like, okay, well, let's just start in the back of the class. Let's just start in the back. Nobody can see you doing anything while everybody else is up front. And so I placed myself in the back of the class. And as I was doing the yoga poses and the meditation and all the things that came along with it, but mainly the poses, the instructor kept saying, uh, do it at your level, do it where you're at, where it's comfortable for your body. You're not competing with anybody else in this class, right? You're not trying to keep up with anybody else in this class. You will never see 20-year-old age again, Frankie. So in your age group, stay focused on what you can do because yoga is personal. It is about what you can do for your body, for your mental health. So in answering this question, limiting beliefs will always hold us back if we keep buying into them, if we keep believing them. Oh, I'm too old for this, or I'm too big for this, or I can't do what Susie's over there doing, or I can't do what Dr. Banks is doing, or whatever it is. Those limiting beliefs will keep you stuck for the remainder of your life. So my challenge is this: the next time that you have something that pops in your head that says, whether Auntie Joan told you this when you were 6, or mom told you this when you were 12, or dad said this when you were 15, when the next time those things pop into your head, stop for just a second. Assess just real quickly, who said that? Who said I can't do this? Who said that? Why did they say that? I don't really care why they said that. I can do this. if I can do this, I can do it at my level where I'm at. I don't have to compete with anyone else. I don't have to, be the pro at what was this one thing that I had to challenge myself with in yoga, yogi squat. Um, I had to challenge myself with it. Everybody else in class was doing it, and I was like, "Yes, good job, good job." But I challenged myself, and maybe I didn't do it the first time. Maybe I couldn't get down to yogi squat the first time, but I kept challenging myself, and I kept telling myself, "Frankie, you can do this. You can absolutely do this. Shut out everything else. Focus on what you are here to do. And right now, you're here to do this
Yeah.
yogi squat." Right? And that's what I did. I just focused on everybody else in the room was gone. Focus on, okay, can I do this? Yes, you can do this. All right, let's do it. And then did it. Right? I fell a couple of times. I fell over on during the yogi squat, but eventually I mastered it, and I'm able to do the yogi squat. Right, so now when I hear the yoga instructor say, "Oh, we're going to do the yoga, everyone, we're going to get into the yogi squat," I don't fear it anymore. I don't feel like, "Oh, here we go again." No, because I know that if I just block everything out, the sounds, the noise, whatever anyone has ever said to me, and focus on the task at hand and do it to the best of my ability and applaud myself when I fall, when I get back up, when I conquer it, in all of those steps, if I applaud myself, I think that's half the battle of getting rid of those limiting beliefs.
Yes. I
There you
totally agree.
go.
Same
Right?
experience in yoga, and I love the yoga teachers that let you know there are modifications for every pose. I
Right.
love the teachers that consistently say, if you fall out the pose, it's okay. Just breathe and readjust and get
Right.
back into it, because it is a journey and it is a practice, and everyone is on their own journey. So I
Right.
love that, and I love that for
Yes.
you. I've had the same feeling in different yoga classes,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's that challenge of pushing yourself beyond your limit of your own self-imposed limiting belief.
Right.
And once you do, you often see that you break out of that limit, and it was only a limit that you put on
It's
yourself.
all over here.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I
Yeah.
too have had that one, and then just a couple of common limiting beliefs that I have
Mhm.
had or that I have heard. Self-care is selfish. Although we only ourselves. There's not two selves in this body. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm not bipolar. I don't have two minds split. I don't have DID, multiple personalities. So there is not more than one being in this body. So I only can see through self. I only could hear through self. I can only feel through myself and walk through my own perspective. So a limiting belief is self-care is selfish, when truthfully, taking care of yourself allows you to show up for others and take care of others better. So I had to learn. I was really actually selfish when I was putting everybody else's needs above me and prioritizing them first and
Right.
not taking care of me first, because then I would get more burnt out, more overwhelmed, more upset, more whatever, bitter, because we were here born self to take care of self, and then I send ourselves to others. So it was out of alignment. So if you think that self-care is selfish, you know, at what state are you the priority? At
Right.
what state do you come first under God, under your source, under what created you? So let's, knock that out. Taking care of you allows you to take care of others. Another one that I've heard, really, I don't really say this anymore. I don't have time. Truth is, small moments of self care add up. If you say you don't have time for you, you're right. If you say you don't have time to take care of yourself, you're right. Because you don't have time to do what you say out of your mouth, what you're going to do.
Right.
But that is a limiting belief, because just because you can't work out an hour doesn't mean you can't plot out 15 minutes 3 times a day to do some sit ups, some push ups, some jumping jack, jumping rope, which adds up to the hour. And look, that those increments added up.
Right.
Just because you say, well, I'm not a person that could read chapter books. Well, you know what? That one chapter, break that chapter up into a week and read 5 pages a day.
Yeah.
Read 3 pages a day. Read 1 page a day. And
Mhm.
at the end of the week, you done read 7 pages of a book. So a lot of people have that limited belief that I don't have time. You do have the time. You just have to find the time and break up things into smaller increments, because we have the time for all the things, but small moments can add up. So it's our perspective about that.
Right.
The last one is I have to earn rest. I have to earn my vacation. I have to earn my self care. I have to earn time to watch TV. I have to earn. I have to work, and earn time to take care of myself.
Mm.
When truth is, rest is your right. Rest is not a reward for a good job done. Resting is something you have a right to do because you are not a robot. You are not running 24/7. You are a human being. So you have to take care of yourself so you can still human and be.
That's
So
it.
it's not the false belief of I have to earn it to relax. We need to dispute that and tell ourselves we have a right to relax. We have a right to chill. We have a right to hang out. We have a right to laugh. We have a right to play just as much as we do.
Right.
We have the right to be.
That's
So
right.
those are the limiting beliefs that I am working on disputing for myself and others around me.
I love that. I love the word that you just used. We need to dispute that. I love that because you're 100% right. So thank you for the add-ons there.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. We're down to the tips now,
Let's jump
right?
into it.
Okay. You got the first one?
Sure. Wellness tip one, try a self compassion break. When feeling overwhelmed or critical of yourself, pause, place a hand over your heart,
Mm.
take a deep breath, and say, I am doing my best, and that is good enough. Practicing self compassion can reduce stress and increase emotional resilience. So take a break. I don't care if it's every hour on the hour. Put your hand over your heart. I am doing my best, and my best is good enough. And that is my tip for practicing self care.
And that is a simple, beautiful tip that anyone can do anytime, any time during their day, anywhere they're at. So I love that. So thank you for that tip.
Yes.
All right. Then tip two is nourish your body intentionally. Choose foods that make you feel energized and balanced. Instead of restrictive diets, focus on intuitive eating, right? Listening to your body's hunger cues and giving it the nourishment it needs without guilt. I love this one. And the reason why I love this is that I don't know if I even told you this, Dr. Banks, but excuse me, a few months back, I switched to a plant-based diet.
Oh, no.
Okay, and I let me remove that word diet because that's so not true. I moved to a plant-based eating regimen. Okay, the word diet I removed because I still like cake.
Mhm.
I still like cake when it had eggs and milk and all that stuff in it. But what I've learned from this is um, intuitively eating. So when I feel hungry, right, I, instead of picking up chips or soda, which I don't do anyways, but picking up chips or soda or something like this, I'll replace it with maybe an apple or a banana. If I'm going to eat a full course meal, I'm going to make sure that I have proper nutrients in place without stressing myself out, saying, oh, I can only eat this or I can only eat that. But when I switched to a plant based eating regimen, I found that there are so many healthy, good things that I can put into my body that does not require me to get all crazy about it in the sense of, oh, what am I going to eat? What am I going to do this? And it has allowed me to explore different foods that I had never even honestly considered, like squash. Okay. I had never considered squash. Now I love squash, right? Because there's so many different ways that you can make it and so on and so forth. So paying attention to what you are putting into your body and intuitively eating when your body is like, oh, and this is where the cake comes in because it is a mental process. The cake will come up and say, hey, Frankie, can you just have a little slice of me? And the answer is absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. You said this once before during the holidays, Dr. Banks. Don't eat the whole pie, but you can have a piece of that pie, right?
Mhm.
The key is paying attention to what your body is asking for. When I said earlier that I switched over to a plant-based diet, do I still eat meat? I get that question a lot. And the answer is, yeah, I do. When my body says, now again, this is not necessarily for everyone. I'm not advocating plant-based eating for everyone, but what I'm suggesting is intuitively, my body is like, Frankie, you can no longer eat cheese, for example. I love cheese, but my body can't process cheese anymore, right? So I'm listening. What can I replace that cheese with, right? What can I do in the place of this? Getting back to the plant-based, I don't limit myself
Hmm.
to just salads and squash and broccoli and all that stuff. I don't. But I don't overeat in areas that are going to be an unhealthy result for me, right?
Right.
So, right. I think again, getting back to the question here, or not the question, but the tip here is choosing foods that make you feel energized and balanced
Hmm.
is the key, right? So pay attention to what you're putting in. And yeah, you can have that piece of cake or that little piece of chocolate that is sitting on your desk or whatever. Don't get all crazy and focused in on, I have to eat this and I can only eat this and I can only eat this. Pay attention to what your body is asking
Right.
for and give your body what it's asking for in a healthy format.
Yep. All things in moderation. I love
There you
that.
go.
I love
Right?
that because
Right.
we should have no limits, but we should just be mindful
Right.
and be intentional. You
Absolutely.
know. Okay. I love that. Well, my tip is do a joy check-in.
Mm,
Ask yourself, what's one thing I can do today just for the joy of it? Whether it's dancing, listening to your favorite song,
right.
calling a loved one, prioritizing joy is an essential part of self care. Oftentimes, people are waiting for that vacation. They're
Mm,
waiting for their birthday. They're waiting for the holiday. They're waiting and waiting, waiting for the fun. And so during the week and during the months of waiting to the fun, they're not necessarily enjoying the journey of life. And life is the journey. It's not just getting to the destination and up, now we're here, now there's nothing left to do. Because
right.
once you get there to that goal, plan, outcome, you're going to have another dream and something else
Mm,
to do. So it really is the journey. And we really need to enjoy the joy along the way.
right.
So do a joy check in. Like I said, I'm a huge believer of journaling. So over the years, I've journaled so much of what I like and love to do that today might be the day I go get a mango icy. The
Mm,
next day, I might go get some Arco cookies. Then today, I might be watching a episode of a series that I like.
right.
The next day, I might be reading a book, at the park for like 30 minutes, and it's not about the money of it because it's a lot of things on my list. They'd be like, oh, get a tattoo, oh, get a piercing, oh, but it's so many things that I've cultivated that it's the joy of doing it. Going to the park. I haven't been in a while, but like just going to the park and getting on the swings. If you used to like the swing, what's the last time you went to the swings by yourself and just swung on the swing for a couple of minutes? So
Right.
do a joy check and cultivate your day, cultivate your pattern and your routine around doing at least one thing that's just for you, that brings a smile. Sing that song out loud in the car to the top of your lungs.
Yeah.
Go ahead and paint your nails that nail color. Dress up for the day, even if you don't got nowhere to go. Dress up and look good for the day and look good for yourself. So do
Right.
a joy check
Right.
and have joy daily, joy weekly, not just joy at the end of it all.
Right. Right. No, I love that because most people, like I said, when we started this, this Monday, for whatever reason, has been a difficult Monday for me. Most people dread coming into Mondays, right? And it never made sense to me, like, why? Because you're going to go into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and then you're back Saturday and Sunday. So why just Monday? And what you just said, if you set your mindset on every single day this week, I'm going to do something that's joyful for just me. And it doesn't, like you said, have to be expensive or extravagant or anything like this, but it has to be specifically for you and a time frame for you, right? So I love that tip. So thank you.
Do you notice that I start off conversations with Joyful Monday,
So okay. You do. You
Joyful
start singing.
Tuesday, Joyful Wednesday, Joyful Thursday,
Right.
Friday?
Right.
So I
You
am
have a
so
whole
intentional about finding the joy. I don't care what day of the week it is.
right.
Like I'm gonna find me some
Hello.
joy.
Oh, yeah, you start off with a song. So I'm just like, joyful, joyful. I was like, all right, I'm with you. So I love that one. So thank you. The last tip that we have is, oh, we actually already covered this, but we're going to just talk about it for just a split second here. Set a no challenge. Okay. Challenge yourself to say no at least once today to something that drains your energy or doesn't align with your priorities. Practicing your peace is a powerful act of self care. Again, we've already talked about this, but as the tip states, this is a challenge to each and every one of you. Whenever you see this, every single day, every single week, every single month, and every year. Practice, challenge yourself to say no when in the back of your mind you're like, I really don't want to do this, but I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint this person or I'm going to upset this situation or whatever. Okay. Practice saying no because that's taking care of you. And it's not selfish. It's not, oh, that's just so inconsiderate. No, it isn't. It's taking care. What is inconsiderate is when you say yes to something that you actually wanted to say no to, because now you're not actually giving your energy and your effort fully into what you just committed yourself to,
Yeah.
right? So that's the challenge,
Yep.
right?
And when you get committed to something you don't want to do, and then sometimes you show up
Yes,
half-assed, or sometimes
right,
you show up angry or
right,
bitter or upset about like,
right,
I'm here or I didn't want to, it's like, well, dang, you should have just said no. Like,
right,
no, don't do it.
right, right,
Don't be unhappy doing something. Like if
right.
you're not gonna be happy doing it, like that's your indicator right there that maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't go or do it.
Right. No, 100. So that's a challenge. That's a challenge to each and every one of
Yep.
us for our journey to practice saying no.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's it. So,
Yes. Well,
yes,
okay, well, we did it. This was
yes.
our Mindful Monday, Mastery Monday, Momentum Monday. We answered some questions that other people sent in, questions that, been posed to us, over time. If you guys have any questions, feel free to DM Frankie or DM myself.
All right.
Message us with your questions and we'll get them answered. If any of these tips or tools resonated, leave a comment on her page, leave a comment on our page. We have some great journals in our bios that can help you cultivate your self-care practices, your gratitude practice, your boundary practice. So check out Frankie's link and my link. We have lots of toolkits and resources that we've been
Yes.
launching that are supportful. We'll leave, this live up and we'll put the information that we talked about, the bullet points on there today. And
Yep.
yeah, it's just been a blessing. I'm grateful for you. I'm thankful for you. I look forward to Mondays,
Right.
seeing you and, chit chatting and like chatting with the world.
Right? No, this is the highlight. This is the highlight of Mondays for me
Yep.
as well. So thank you very much. And like Dr. Banks just said, please check out our link. Excuse me, in the bio, we'll have our links and all that good stuff. So you can access our resources because they are valuable and they are important for your journey. So thank you,
Yeah.
Dr. Banks.
Well, thank you guys for watching. I don't see any questions down there.
Mine's
So,
not moving. Yeah,
yeah.
mine's not even moving, so I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't
All
know.
right. Well,
Hey, look, hey, Dr. Banks, look, if we missed any questions, can you all just drop it in our comments and
yep.
we will revisit them, right?
Yep.
There you
We
go.
will. Yep.
Awesome. Awesome.
All right. Well, I
Yeah,
hope this gave you a pause in your Monday and a reset in your Monday.
absolutely.
So now you can see maybe things through a different lens
Right.
and you can continue the Monday better than maybe how it started or in a better state than it started.
Amen to that.
All right.
All right, sis. I'll
See you
see you.
later.
Bye.
Bye.